Approximately 3 minutes ago, we detected an ICBM over the Pacific. Current flight trajectory is consistent with impact somewhere in the continental United States.
You guys both play professions that exist in the real world, and I imagine that there's, I don't want to say pressure in a bad way, but you want to uphold the realistic response to a crisis like this. What did the preparation process look like for both of you going into this film?
You want to do your job. Yeah. That's first and foremost. Yeah. We speak to the dudes, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just speak. Thankfully we had a lot of help. We had people on set who did these jobs, who worked in Stratcom, who weren't you working with the
POC, with the guy that ran Obama's Situation Room? We had enough there, but we played military guys now. They do their job, and that was the great reminder. And then as it breaks down and gets more and more stressful, you see more and more of the people behind them, and that's a great realization, understanding. It brings in empathy, but also you need them to do their job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The best thing was just getting into their minds, getting into their head about like, hey, how would you actually react to this? Or like, if somebody wanted to cry here, would they actually cry? Like, and like one of them said, no, there'd be none of that in the room.
Take it out.
You'd have to go outside and let that out, and then come back in and get it together. Like it was just great having them there.
Mm-hmm. This film starts out as such a normal day in these occupations, and it's immediately flipped on its head when this crisis begins to start. Anthony, with your character of Major Gonzalez, he starts off pretty frustrated, I think it's fair to say. The moment with the chips, throwing them off, like kind of annoyed at his people around him.
For sure.
Can you kind of talk to me about the dangers of starting a job like this, a day like this, with that kind of headspace? Because obviously he can't anticipate what's about to happen, but I can only imagine going into a day like this with your brain all jumbled like that, it's going to affect your workday in not the most positive light.
Sometimes your decision making, right? Like sometimes when we're flustered and something is going on in our personal lives and now we got to go back to work, and you just broke up with somebody, or you just found out someone's going to jail, and you're like, oh, something crazy, right, is happening to you. That's super intense. But if someone's going to jail, I'm bugging. You can tell from
somebody ate your Doritos.
Someone ate your chips, but right, like you're stressed out about something already. Now you're coming into your workspace, and you got to try to let that go, especially now an alert goes off, and now you see, okay, a missile's going off. All right, this has happened before, right? We've been through this, but now you're realizing, oh wait, it's not falling anywhere, it's flattening. And everything you was going through has to go away. Everything that just happened to you, everything you're worried about in your past, and everything you're worried about that's gonna happen in your future, it all goes away. The only thing you're locked in on is that. So it is, the reality of somebody having to come into their job and lock in like that is a really special thing, and that not a lot of people can do.
Yeah, it's easier said than done to leave it all at the door, as they say.
Yeah.
Jason, you're no stranger to these type of like real world situations, specifically in your filmography. Zero Dark 30 and Oppenheimer are direct recollections of moments that have happened in history. This is obviously a fictional interpretation, but still the real world response, so to speak. I'd love to know if you took anything that you learned from the experience on Oppenheimer into this project, because I couldn't help but draw the parallels between the nuclear elements, and that ending line still haunts me of, you said we'd set off a chain reaction that would destroy the world. I believe we did. And I feel like now 80 years later in House of Dynamite, we're seeing that fallout.
Boom, yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. There's a lot of similarities, and yet they're completely different films, aren't they? By two of the greatest filmmakers that exist currently. I love both of them, and they take us deeper down the rabbit warren. And then Katheryn's film has swung it around, though, I feel, more, and put it back onto the audience, back onto the viewer, and given it back to you. You've seen, yes, they're having a tough day, but there is a system in place. Is it a perfect system? No, but it is. There's a document. Now we get down to the POC. Minute 12, the guys come down, we get down there. They lock us in. Only two, there's this thing that we have developed, and for my money, Katheryn's film brings the audience closer into the reality and the simplicity of it. And the fact is, it's not going to happen the way we think it's going to happen. It's not going to come in the direction or the place or the space. It doesn't matter if there's a good guy or a bad guy, or a right or a wrong, or a moral equation even here. Even though there are plenty, the president's got to decide how many is acceptable, how many is not acceptable. Should we just take it and end it at that? you know, it's remarkable that these two films have come out in such a close thing, and the fact that I was part of both of them. I was very, I feel like I'm in something that's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, selfishly as an audience member, I throw my hands up when the title card comes on at the end because I want to see how it plays out. But as a human being, as an American citizen, as just someone who's living on planet Earth and wants to see civilization continue, it leaves you with that, we don't want to know what happens on the other side.
Sure.
We want to interpret the real world response and then hope we never have to see the other side. So again, that's all the time I have, but thank you guys so much.
Thank
This was a
you,
great
man.
conversation.